Let's talk about your portfolio. Are you ready? Your UX portfolio is your professional representation. It is literally your ambassador into the room where you are not. It's the very first impression that you make on a potential hiring manager or a recruiter who's looking to fill a role. Since your portfolio is your representative when you're not in the room, it's really important that it makes the right impression. In my opinion, it's truly the only thing you need in order to apply for a job. Yes, I know, you need a resume, but your portfolio acts as a resume. So if only one thing could be created, I would tell you to focus on your portfolio. Now, that starts to get overwhelming, right? Because you know that it's the most important artifact that you need to have to represent yourself when you're on the job search. It's probably triggering something in you known as demand avoidance. This is associated with many neurological disabilities and other conditions, hashtag not a doctor, but I am familiar with this feeling. Demand avoidance is essentially, it's the resistance to doing something that someone expects you to do, even if that someone who has the expectations is you yourself. I know, how annoying. One of the most significant blockers in a junior designer's career is not being able to get their portfolio done or not having it done to their desired level, to their level of satisfaction. There's a lot of things going on during the job search. You're stressed. I mean, there's no other words for it. Applying for things, updating your resume to make sure that it's actually meeting people's expectations or meeting the requirements of the job description, and then having the expectation that you have some sort of website and that it is as nice as everyone else's. There's a lot of stress and therefore trauma that comes from the job seeking process. A lot of my former students had struggles getting their portfolio done after the boot camp. So let's rewind a second and think about what the boot camp experience is like. A lot of folks came in without any design experience. A lot of folks are coming in from non-technical jobs. So there's already a massive shift in perspective and what you're thinking that you want to do. Then there's around 6 months of really intense learning. You're cramming in information as quickly as they can spew it out to you, and you're just trying to hold on to any of the details so that you don't feel like a complete failure at the end of 6 months. There are a ton of topics. There are varying levels of depth. There are individual projects. There are group projects. It's a lot. Most of the students who went through a boot camp spent time for 6 months and were exhausted by the end of it. There's no wonder that if you went through this experience that you struggled to get your portfolio done to your level of satisfaction. It's very easy to get bogged down by all the distractions of, oh, I finally wrapped up this intense boot camp and now I have to embark on being a job seeker. It's a real hindrance to your focus and your ability to do your best work. It's really crucial. So you also get bogged down by the expectation that it has to be perfect. It's very easy to get distracted and psych yourself out. I'll be super honest, and I may not be speaking for all senior designers, but it doesn't get easier as you continue your career. The stress and struggle of creating your first portfolio in order to land a job, it only goes away while you're in the job. And then we kind of forget because we get caught up in the day-to-day details of having a job and meetings and deliverables and deadlines. And then we forget to take those really good notes and have things set up for success for the next time we need to update our portfolio. So trust me, this is an ongoing struggle. Most designers past their first couple of years only update their portfolio when they're actively job seeking. I can only speak for myself, but maybe this resonates with you. We often make excuses for why we don't hit a deadline. Maybe a friend called, or our child needed something, or maybe we just weren't feeling well enough to focus. And maybe that happens day after day. It's okay. Please don't feel shame about this. This is also my experience. Something came up that prevented us from doing what we really wanted and needed to do. Did it really come up, or did we just find anything to focus on other than this one huge, almost insurmountable task? It's usually that part for me. I think I would say I am in the top 1% of people who can find absolutely anything to do other than what's expected of me. Did your guest bathroom suddenly need a deep clean with a toothbrush? Mine do. Weird. So unfortunately, this can often lead to a cycle in which we never actually move forward on our portfolio, and that is an impediment to our career. It prevents us from reaching the success to which we can achieve. This also starts a really icky little internal cycle in which we stop finishing the tasks and projects that we've started. Does that feel familiar? And if our level of success that we want to reach includes finding a UX job, and yet we don't do the work that actually will get us a UX job, well, now you can see how people will start to spin into maybe some anxiety and some depressive feelings. You cannot afford to let distractions derail you from the success you are about to achieve. Ultimately, you are limiting your own potential by not having your portfolio ready. Let's talk about a few things that you can do to help yourself find that momentum and get your portfolio done. First, ditch the devices. How you can set yourself up for success starts with setting the scene. To begin with, you want to prevent any distractions before they become an issue. Those distractions are typically texting, phone calls, social media, YouTube. Don't just turn your phone face down on the table. It's still there. And unfortunately, we're currently dealing with an epidemic, an endemic, I don't know what it is, but basically we're all kind of addicted to our phones. So if it's even close to you, you will reach for it. Put it in another room just for a couple of hours so that you can focus. The Harvard Business Review says even having your smartphone near you reduces your cognitive capacity. What? Set a timer on your watch or another analog device and put your phone in another room and don't look at it. And if you're the person who can't imagine being without your phone, start small, go for 15 minutes. Another way to set yourself up for success is to keep the noise down or turn it up. So if the amount of noise in your workspace is just too much to handle, put on some sound canceling headphones or find yourself in a quiet, small space. Allow your attention to stay focused on something that's so important, even for just a short period of time, by blocking out distractions. If it's actually too quiet and you start to feel like your mind's wandering, put on some lo-fi beats. There are tons of stations on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube that you can find something that will keep you focused and in the zone for longer. Another option that I have found success with is working out loud. This means telling people what you're doing and when you expect to be done. So consider announcing in a LinkedIn post that you're going to have your portfolio ready to apply for jobs on X date, and make a reasonable date, perhaps 4 weeks from now. Give yourself enough time to do the work, but also enough time to have a little bit of downtime. Be realistic and don't set yourself up for failure by setting the expectation that you'll work for 96 hours straight without a break. That's crazy. We don't do that. This can be especially helpful for you if you definitely respond to the expectations of others more so than the expectations that you put on yourself. After you set that date, it's crucial that you actually set aside the time on your calendar. Put blocks of time on your calendar where you know you're going to focus, and set an agenda for those times. If I just have blocks of time on my calendar and I don't set an intention for that time is probably spent on YouTube. So put an agenda in that calendar invite for yourself and say, I'm going to work on this case study, or I'm going to find assets for this project. Something else that I have personally found so useful is doubling up to double down. So body doubling is a strategy that people with ADHD use to get through really annoying tasks when they're easily distracted. Having a body double can be as simple as being on a video call with both of your cameras off. You're not there to interact, just to stay in the moment and stay focused on your task. You could also look into platforms where you are matched up with a stranger, like FocusMate, or you could consider joining another platform like Flown, which is what I currently use, and you can drop into any ongoing session. There are drop-in sessions where essentially everyone is on camera, but no one has their microphone on. So you're not interacting with other humans, you're setting intentions and you're getting work done. But there's also interesting focus sessions with people who are leading the session and making sure you take mindful breaks and celebrating your successes. These are all tools that can help you be successful with ADHD style body doubling. Last but not least, my absolute favorite and best piece of advice around this is put a price on it. Something that helped me overcome my anxiety and my fear of getting started / fear of finishing / fear of success. Look, that's a post for another day entirely. Was putting a price on my portfolio, specifically a price spent on my time updating my portfolio. So my partner asked me if I could carve out 20 hours in the next month to focus on my portfolio if I was being paid $500 an hour. Yes, obviously. That's an easy yes, right? Obviously, I said, yes, of course. 20 hours at $500 an hour is $10,000. It's a very easy thing to agree to. Imagine being paid $500 an hour to work on your portfolio. You could do that. Could you find 20 hours in the next month to work on your portfolio? I bet you could. What if I told you that the median base salary increase that you could expect with an employer-ready portfolio is at least $10,000. Spending 20 hours refining and perfecting your portfolio over the next 30 days suddenly feels worth it. It's all about the perspective. The truth is that any problem can be solved if you have the mindset to do it. It really comes down to how badly do you want it? Do you have the desire to put in the work? Do you believe that you can do it? I believe that you can, and I'm really excited to see you succeed. Drop a comment below and let me know when you're going to have your portfolio ready. And I am so excited to celebrate your success. And if no one else has told you yet today, I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'm so excited to celebrate your success.